Welcoming you back to crypto's juiciest news, baby dolls. Bitcoin sitting at a nice, healthy, roughly 80,000 American dollars. It is still sitting above this monthly trend up. How are we going on this fine day today? Now, here's the thing. We've just seen a bit of contextual stuff, short-term stuff. We've seen a bit of pullback things, okay? But it's nothing to really worry about. Because if we go down to the shorter time frame, this is pretty much it, friends. So we had the nice reversal up, and then this part's come down. Everyone gets a bit scared again. But there's nothing to worry about, friends. Look, honestly, just me, I've written off April. I've written off April. I think April's going to finish good. Everything's going to be okay, but it's going to look okay on a chart when you look at it from the future. It's not going to look and feel good this month whatsoever. Okay, and by the way, that includes even if Bitcoin, it could even have a push up to like 88 or something, right? Either 88 or 89. It could even do that and then have some sort of like scare again, right? Later on. And then finally moving into May, that would be consistent with the global liquidity checkup, which I'll just show you now as well. That's our magical cope line of the magical global liquidity fractal. So you see what I mean, friends? Like we're following it pretty aggressive. You want to know something interesting? Look what happened. It ticked up again. So it pretty much, it looks like, look what's going to happen. We are going to be running up to May, June, and July. Yay! But like, we're just making up lost ground here because like even if you look at others BTC, look at this, friends. We are we've had 5 red monthly candles. Friends, I can't tell you how bad this is, okay? We did not have that in our bear market at all. Literally at all. This is the worst 5. Look at the last time we had 5, dude. It was 2019, 2018. But look at this. Look, friends. Look how far altcoins went up against Bitcoin first. It went up 19x. By the way, Bitcoin went up 15x. So you went up. So yes, the average altcoin market back then outside of the top 10 went up 19 times 15. It did a 285x. I'm not making this up. Any ICO you did was 100x. I'm not even joking. That was 2017. So you're like, okay, everything did 100x. You kind of view like, all right, it's allowed for you to have like a terrible bear market ever. You're like, it makes sense, right? Unfortunately, we had a terrible bull. Look what we got in our trash bull market. If you go to January 2021, that's garbage. You only did a 5x max. And then Bitcoin from that point only did, I think, like a 3. If you go check from January or 2. It was a 2x. Went from like, 28K to like around 56K. So, yeah, you went from literally doing a 250x for altcoins. And then last cycle only did like a 9x. Yeah, and so like you're like, okay, what gives, man? Why is it giving the longest one? Well, it is what it is, friends. It's just we're part of the business cycle, right? Friends, you got to think about like, why have we had such horrific trash returns? And it's because we had the worst business cycle drawdown period in 50 years. Okay, that's it. Okay, so I've come to simplify it. No ifs or buts about it. It's literally been the worst in 50 years. We're below 50 for 29 months. The last time it was this bad was literally, you got to go back to here. You got to go back to around this 1980 zone, okay? When it was like literally this trash, literally like that, if you look at it here. So this is like 29, 30 months. It actually came down, then I swung back up for this period, but I'll just concede that this was a trash period. Very sad, actually, when you look at it like that. So see, even this one was horrible in the 70s, but this is 21 months, okay? We're on 29, my gosh, 29. And guess what? It's not going to tick up to 52. So it could be like 31, 32 months. So that's why, okay? And business confidence is altcoins, okay? That's it. And in a nutshell, all the charts show it. You correlate with them and everything. But, friends, there's a sort of silver lining to these, friends. Look at the US dollar. The US dollar has been dropping like a rock. That is crazy. Actually, check out the daily candle close. Whack. Down. This is what we want to see. This is some good news. The US dollar, the old Dickie boy going down, dropping like a sack of potatoes, repeating the 2017 cycle. That's what we want to see, okay? That's definitely what we want to see. Let's actually crank it a bit. Let's crank it. Okay, now, This is the weekly super trend, weekly chart. We are still green and mean. I'm not expecting anything. Like, we're doing enough. Like, hey, we bottomed out. Okay, we're not going to zero. Okay, now we got to go through that whole everyone's too scared to get long and theory part where you grind up. Like, you go basically 3 steps up, 2.5 steps back. 3 steps up, 2.75 steps back. Like, that's basically what ends up happening when during these times. And basically, that's everybody continues to be scared when they're looking at that. Sad for Ethereum still, man. Ethereum cucked. I got some data on it, man. Bro, 1, 2, 3. Are you serious, bro? What the hell is this? 5 red months. The past 11 candles, 10 were red, and we got an Ethereum spot ETF. It just tells you, friends. It proves to you, okay? It proves to you you're a yummy lollipop, number 1. And number 2, it does prove to you that the storm, the clouds, the bigger macro forces, they are at play here, not the news. The Ethereum spot ETF didn't mean shit. Also, it's weird because you're like, Somi, what about Bitcoin? Bitcoin's part of that. Bitcoin's risk on. I know. It might be giving us a sign that we're going to have a great alt season because Bitcoin was strong. Imagine Bitcoin was just garbage. The whole thing is garbage. So Bitcoin has given us hope. It really has given us hope. Like this, by the way, as well, it's Michael Saylor turbo leverage as well. That's the thing. But it has given us hope. Okay, so we are looking up to the positives. Now, checking out that inverted yield curve. It's uninverting, hanging around here. We're going to go through a bit of the macro data and stuff out here because everyone's like, macro. What's going on with the macro, dude? You know, let's look at the stock market, friends. So when I'm talking about macro, this is the Russell 2000. This is its daily chart. Down, up, down, up, down, up. That's what it does around here. Probably tries to eventually make its way up here and then screw us around. And yeah, but this, friends, as well, like there's no glory, bro. You need to be through your all-time high. You want alt season? We've got to get through the all-time high. That's the overwhelming theme about this. All the way, friends. By the way, man, my gosh. Others ETH ratio is literally shooting through the roof. It's at 1.1 now. Oh my gosh. It's had a resistance around 1 for since forever. Literally. So basically when altcoins, the total market cap of the others altcoins, so everything outside of the top 10, when they equal Ethereum, the market would always basically sell off all the altcoins. But now Ethereum is so weak, these things are just rising. You know, that's why, friends, look, my overall theme strategy is, and just don't take this home because, you know, it's not, you know, just protect yourself, but you probably want to collect ETH for 2028, 2029 cycle. But I'll show you now, right? I'll just give you an example, okay? Look how strong Link versus ETH is. See that? Look at this. It's literally doing the roundy thing. Like it's ready to go. It's literally, look at this. It's just grinding up. It's on the bull flag. Like it's literally ready to go. Obviously, no one knows where this is going to end and stop. But yes, this thing is it's curling up. It's ready to go. I don't know where it's going to go. I hope it goes all the way up here. Does some big move up here. But that's interesting, right? So altcoins, you know, I'll guess this, by the way, in 2020. In 2022, at the beginning of 2022 bear market, I thought, well, I think this cycle is going to be, see, we couldn't get the best of both worlds. You can't get a world where Ethereum is super powerful and the altcoins are super powerful against Ethereum, right? Because basically you are reverse engineered it. You make too much money. You're not allowed to make that much money. It gets too big. Like you're looking at Ethereum 27,000 and everything. Like it just doesn't make, you can't, just too much money, right? So I thought, well, this cycle, either Ethereum's going to be super powerful or the altcoins are going to catch up on the ETH ratios, which I think is going to happen. Not that you want ETH, like you don't feel like you want ETH, but yeah, these are cheap times. Basically what it means is though, friends, is Ethereum's going to be weak and cheap and you'll be able to, not that everyone will want to do this, no one will do this. You'll be able to accumulate a lot of Ethereum with your value when you're taking profit. The thing is though, just be careful of this. Why? Because since Ethereum is just like everything else, when you do get your favorable prices, you might get an ETH-btc here, right? And that's the retracement. That's a 60% retrace of this. So if you're taking profit into ETH at the top of a bull or something, or towards a bull, you just have to be careful because in the bear, it can just come back down and do that, right? It probably will. It probably will do that because like Ethereum is risk on. We know that, yeah. Even though, so a good thing to basically learn from is if we go and observe XRP, that'll be a good example for us to look at right here. So what I did is, friends, I don't know why, just the universe just pointed this to me. Just, okay, I'm just guessing because we're just running this in real time, right? XRP in 2021 cycle. So it was at this ratio in 2020. And then the SEC scammed them. They went down. But then all it could do in the bull market was recover. Okay? It could just recover. That's why I think the best case scenario we get for Ethereum is just recover the Bitcoin spot, so the Ethereum spot ETF ratio around like maybe, yeah, all the way here. That's what I think happens, right? So somehow it just finds a way, it comes back up here, maybe a bit of a spike, do you know what I mean? So I'm seeing it conceptually the same way. It's like, well, yeah, by the way, you're probably wondering, so why are you even looking at XRP? It's because XRP did that in its third cycle curse. Okay, that's what XRP did. So if I come back and I show you, I go, well, this is the equivalent of, I guess, ETH-btc coming back to its 0.055 ratio. And that would be if like, hopefully, if Bitcoin is 250K and ETH is like 0.05 of that, you get a $12,000 ETH. Okay, which is enough. It's enough to crank it. It is enough to crank it. It's plenty, actually. It is plenty. Okay, but then look what it did in the following year. So in the bear market, it like hangs around. And then funny, in the Bitcoin halving year, right, this thing starts to drag down, but then actually by the end of the year has a strong recovery. It's coming back, right? So that might be like, I'm just going to conceptually draw, if something like that was to repeat for Ethereum, yeah, it would be, I guess, doing that back into, so here's 2028, right? So it would be like something in our bull market comes back down and just like does that. Everyone thinks it's kind of strong. And then like in the halving year, it like drops down again. So it drops down again and everyone thinks it's like weak, but actually by the end of the year, Ethereum does something like that. Okay, and it's actually like, whoa, and right now this is exactly where XRP is actually. It's like teetering on here. Like it's ready to go for the bull market. Okay, so, but that's a long time, man. I know that's a long time, but I'm just it's something I like to think about for the future. And look, I know a lot of people saying, hey, Ethereum, like you're trash, or like they're going to prefer Solana or anything out here, but it's something to think about. It's honestly, it's so advanced difficulty and hard to nail. You might even say, hey, is it even worth our time? Yeah, a very fair question. Is it even worth your time? Why not just like, just sell it into BTC anyway and think about that in the next cycle? That could be it. That could be it, friends. Very possible. The thing is though as well, in 2020, if you look at ETH-btc, which I'll look at now, okay, that was a Bitcoin halving year. Okay. In 2020, ETH-btc started going up. Okay. It started like grinding up. Yeah. So that's something to think about as well. So maybe, it's hard, right? It's hard, but maybe that's what you got to do. Maybe you got to buy Ethereum at the end of 2027, ready for the Bitcoin halving year. But you're taking a punt that you're just going to get another business ISM cycle if it repeats that same way. Because we got a once in 50-year event. We got a freak event. So while I've gone through this with you analysis, so screw the macro stuff and everything for now. That's very important, friends, because it's basically like saying the fundamentals of Ethereum are strong. Do you know, friends, I found out, if Ethereum drops to 1,250, which is like very close, yeah, it will have more stable coins than its entire market cap. The thing is manipulated down. Something is really, 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 really wrong somewhere. They're either manipulating it down, using the futures. Something's going on. There's some like extreme cheating, weak hands, something's going on, and we'll figure it out later. Usually with these things, you end up finding it later on after the scamming is done. Now, I'm going to show you Mr. Stonk Market. This is the S&P 500 up here. This purple line, this is just the interest rates that I just like looking at. If we go down into the daily, friends, this is what the stocks have been doing. This is very, very standard up here. It's funny. I think I saw Alessio. If you just draw a fib to the top, it's kind of funny. Look at that. From the fib from the bottom to the stop of this range, it literally comes back. It touches the, what is that? The 50% range of that. It came back. It's nicked it out here. So, the stock market, friends, during these highly volatile times, it's not surprising just to see things go like, like, oh, are we jittering? Are you doing something like that, right? And then you have the whole thingamajig where you has to go like, oh, bang, like that, okay? Everyone's always thinking about, right, could we go back lower? Of course we can always go back lower, but I've got to show you some stuff, right? Very important. Like, it's very obvious, friends, the US government, they're playing hardball, but the bonds have scared the living crap out of them. The US Fed's going to have to print money. I'm literally, by the way, I'm watching the US Treasuries dump in real time right now. Oh my gosh. So can these things go lower? Sure. But then US Fed's going to be like, you know what? We've got to cut rates. We've got to buy the bonds. Okay. So if you want to know everything, friends, everything comes back down to the bonds. And this is the bonds right here. So these bonds, friends, this is the thing. Okay. You got to remember. Okay. So when everything's working normal, right? When stocks are going down, so all right, S and B. All right, when stocks go down, so when the stock market is dropping, what people do is they go, oh crap, stocks are going down, growth is slowing. What they do is they sell that, they're buying bonds. They're increasing their bond portfolio weight because they want the certainty of the fiat income, of the interest rate. Yeah, because it's meant to be a protection, because as stocks drop further and further, the Fed has to cut the rates, right? So then the bonds, their value goes up. Yeah, because people are willing to pay more for the yield. Okay, so that's normally, so that's right. Stocks down, bonds up. But what's been happening, this is what everyone got spooked from. Check it on the daily. So this is wild, right? You have, look at this. Stocks, right? As stocks capitulated, this started going up, but look what happens. It stopped here and it just reversed all the way back down. That is spooking the US government. If I go back and I show you Mr. Stock Market, which is here, this is what's spooking everyone. Because the yields are back, assuming the S&P 500. I know this doesn't look like much on a chart, but it's a world of difference, right? So basically, the bonds are back to a yield when the S&P 500 had recovered the whole move, where there's like 8% year. By the way, that's big. That's about a year's growth. The stock market is growing 8% of the year. So pretty much, it's like saying, who's going to buy these bonds now? Right? The bonds are dumping. Remember, bonds are important. That's how all the governments make money. They're selling you poop. It's poopy fiat. They're selling you access to an income stream where they push the money printer and you get to buy it. So that's why everyone's blinking now. Because the initial plan was, as the tariffs and everything sends markets down, the bond yields go down because the price is going up. So they needed these bonds, right? They needed these bonds to go up. When the bonds are up, then the yield is lower and the US government can go, hey, you know what? We're going to refinance. Fed's going to cut rates and everything's going to be sweet. Problem is, I think it was Japan, friends. Japan have been dumping, right? Very, very uncertain with things out here. So that's what happens, right? They have big holders of these. There's Japan, there's Europe, there's Estrogen Union. You've got China as well, like top 3 or 4. So every country in the world, they have US treasuries, right? And that's why they watch them. They watch the price action in the book of all these. So that's basically the yield. So when you see people saying, oh, the yields are green, when they see these green charts on treasury yields, everyone's like, uh-oh, what's happening here? Especially because Kippy came out cooler than expected, okay? So, I mean, look at the White House. White House Economic Advisor Hassett says bond market may have contributed to the tariff decision, but did not cause a panic. So that is pretty much, yeah, they've said it. So he goes, it was the bond market. The bond market. That's offensive. Isn't it funny? Like, I heard even Ivan say, it's like, it is true, right? These men and these people, they act powerful and like, yeah, everything's going to be cool. We're on top of it. But once their money starts getting drained, they are like little dogs in the street. All right, just little dogs in the street, little puppies running around. They can't do anything, okay? And they're scared. You literally can't do anything. Once that income stream, you're like, oh crap, right? Your value goes down. Yeah, what are you going to do? Posture harder? You can't. You're literally losing money in real time. So that's pretty much what makes them buckle. And it does come down to that bond market, right? And so how does this problem get solved in the past? Mr. J. Powell comes out. Mr. J. Powell comes out and he mogs everyone and he's like, you know what? I'm just going to print money. We're going to buy them. Okay. We're going to use currency. We're just going to buy the government, get debt, right? We're going to create a bid on them. So you get to see, right? That's actually I guess, the end game for all of these. That's why we're looking for like this stealth QE. So, friends, I wouldn't be surprised right now. They're just inventing a name right now. Like right now in their offices, they're like, okay, we're going to buy the bonds, but what word can we use for the public? We can't call it QE. We can't say bond purchase. We want to use a word where it's like, hey, like they're probably going to say something. We're opening up like an indirect liability account system. You know, just these random words. And they're like, bro, what does that even mean? It's literally QE. It is. It's just literally they're printing money, sending it to another account, and they go do it. But all these other losers who come out here who, you know, all these like these babyface macro freaks come out and they start saying, no, it's not QE. The Fed's doing a different line. Like they're part of the fiat system. Okay, that's why. So you'll never hear them say that. US inflation, friends, has fallen to 2.4% lower than expectation. So that's what sent everyone into a bit of a panic as well. Because inflation went down. It was cooler than expected, right? Which is beautiful. And I'll just show you the data here. Some say data. Here, let me just refresh. There's a bit of racism because it hasn't updated yet. Here we go right here. So they were expecting 2.5% inflation. It came out 2.4%. And the core CPI, friends, was expected plus 0.3. It's down to 0.1. The core CPI is actually a more important one. That's where they trim it. They trim the volatile ones. It's a Fugazi index anyway. So that's why you would think, that's why everyone's a bit nervous. They're like, wait a minute. We just got cooler inflation. The Fed's got to cut rates and stuff. Why didn't the bonds rally? Why did they sell off, right? There you go, right? You see something in the system's breaking. And it's not just something in the system's breaking. People are looking at the tariffs. It's a wider marketplace. It's probably looking at the tariffs and like, you know what? We don't actually think rates can be lower for that long. We think inflation's hot. We think inflation's hot. You know, so that's going to be concerning because if they think inflation's hot and the rates are high, how are you going to roll over that $7 to $9 trillion debt that's due in June? How are you going to roll it over? Well, they have to roll it over, but they want to pay a lower interest rate. I'm going to now bring up the CME Fed Watch tool, which is a fantastic website here just to see the rates. Let's have a peek. Here it is right now, and this is very interesting, friends. 82% chance, no interest rate change. 18% chance of a cut. Oh my gosh. Oh crap. Uh-oh. What's going to happen now? The market doesn't even want to price in a cut. Damn. Remember, friends, I gave you the breaking news yesterday. Donald Trump was seeking permission from the Supreme Court to fire Jerome Powell, the Fed chairman, because he's too slow with the interest rates. And they've been reporting, inflation's gone, bro. Why aren't you cutting? Wow, man. That's interesting. And also, remember, I've got to show you. So a lot of people saying it's stupid. It doesn't mean, it does like the Fed is meant to be independent from everything. Okay, but if you're Donald Trump, and your election was literally right here, you see this guy cutting rates 3 times for Joe Biden, trying to boost the stock market to get you unelected, to get you basically to lose. That's what Donald Trump sees. He's like, oh, that's weird. He goes, bro, you literally left 3 rate cuts in a row right until the election. You're not meant to cut rates or move rates near the election. You're meant to be apolitical. You're meant to be neutral, not do anything during the time, okay? But you did. You cut rates 3 times in a row. Looks like you're trying to prop up the market for Joe Biden. That's how he's interpreting it. That's why he's probably going to seek stuff like this. And you know Trump as well. You know, like, oh, you voted for the other team, huh? Hey, Ripple guys. We remember. Cracking on with some news as well. The Estrogen Union has paused tariffs on US goods for 90 days and agrees to negotiate a new trade deal. The White House says inflation is down, jobs are up, the golden age of America is underway. So I think it's fantastic. Now, friends, I'm not joking. I burst out. I had, you know, the belly laughter. Man, I had a tear in my eye. Okay, I'm going to show you this. So I was watching Ivan. Okay, I could not believe this. Okay. Trump, I did not know, friends. I watch cartoons and movies and stuff. I didn't know it was actually like real life. The president, so a leader, a ruler, he has just these yes men around him. I thought it was just Simpsons, South Park. I thought it was just movies. No. It's real. I couldn't believe it. Oh, friends. Okay. He's got these yes men around him. And look at what they say to talk to him about the markets. They literally bring him up. Now listen carefully, okay? I could not believe it.
We're proud. Listen to this.
You got the market seeing your brilliance. So,
Yeah, that's...
I died. I got that. So this is random yes man, because the stock market was up, you know, like 500 points. He's like, my lord, the market has seen your brilliance. And he's looking at him like, yes, 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 the market has seen your brilliance. It's like the movies. The movies were real. The story writers were true. This is in cartoons. It's actually real. You just got a bunch of yes dudes. Sir, the market, it's seen how fantastic you are. Yes. He's like, yeah, I know. I couldn't believe it, man. Oh my gosh. By the way, they did not know they were getting recorded. So it literally says, the Dow's up 2,500 points. Nobody has ever heard of it. Gotta be a record. So, I couldn't believe it, man.
The first guy saying, the market is...
I couldn't, this is what we're dealing with, man. Literally, it's just a bunch of decisions and random dudes, but it makes sense when you look at it. Like, how else is it going to work? You need to walk around, but you got to keep yourself positive. You got these dudes running around. Yes, my lord, yes. All the green candles are because of you, the people. Look at them. I just imagine him looking at that, you know, behind that purple curtain. He's looking down in the palace, down in the people. You know, and he's like, he's executioner arm guard. He goes, look at the people. They worship you. They love you. They're here for you. They cheer your name. Oh, man. Like, this is the biggest ruler, dictator, king trope. Like, I've seen. Like, when they would describe kingdoms in, like, you know, 800 AD, you're playing Assassin's Creed and stuff out here, that type of stuff. Prince of Persia. I couldn't believe it. I thought it's all fantastical, right? No, it's real. It's how it works. It's literally how it works, man. Oh, man, those dudes, they're pretty good at being yes men as well, just hanging around like, so the market, I'm all because of you. So that's gold. That's gold, man. US tariffs on China now totals 145%. So the back and the forth and China, and then remember Trump's got the ERS. Yeah, it's kind of funny, friends. The market, you know how irrational it got. I just got to remind everyone, guys, do you remember what happens when Trump gets in? He cuts taxes, yeah? Okay, well, he's just trying to close the gap for some of the taxes. Okay, so now your big tax cut comes. You can't just cut taxes and do nothing, right? He has to fill the gap somewhere. He's just trying to make other countries pay for it a bit to stimulate America. And America as well, America's 5% of the world population. It is 39% of all consumable demand. That's big, bro. That's big. That means like an American is pretty much an 8x leverage if you can get one American compared to the average person out there in the world. On average, you can just an American is worth 8x. Like that's, if you can do America, right? That 39% of the world demand. And that's the thing, like China make a lot of stuff, yeah, but America don't have to buy that stuff. They can just go buy somewhere else. They can do other things as well. So all these macro things, I know everyone gets like excited. Like we weren't talking about this stuff 4 or 5 months ago. Where's our pump market? So it is what it is. We just got to deal with it. Canada agrees to drop the tariffs tomorrow if President Pump agrees to do the same. President Pump says, I haven't seen stock market drop today. So we're noticing a common theme now, okay? He only hears about the market from his yes men. They only tell him when the market's up. It's very obvious, right? They're like, the market has seen your brilliance today, my lord. Hey, do you think you could be good at that, by the way? Like, that's a skill, you know? I remember watching, friends, there was like a 20-minute video, I think, of from Patrick Bet-David. And he was just showing how different people in life, like some people are good leaders and some people are just good number twos. You know, and these people, like, they're born to be just a number two. They like being in the background. They're good in the background. They're good to feed information, but that's it. They buckle in front of the camera and stuff like here. And some leaders, I just can't be number two. They have to do stuff. It's just people's personalities. But I do wonder, man, these are some really good yes men. They know exactly what to tell him, sir. The aura, my lord. The aura of the orange man. They will say your name for eons. That's probably what they tell him. They're like, you will be written in the history books, my lord. That's your job, but your job is just to G him up. Oh, man, it's kind of funny. I I'm so speechless, man. You're telling me society actually works like the cartoons? I'm like, well, President Pump says the first tariff deal is very close. The US has begun negotiation with Vietnam. Thanks to President friends. I've got a cute picture of President Scam Long Dong with US of A coming in. That's awesome, bro. I hope you're enjoying all those PDI GDP boosts. The estrogen union has sought to make a completely balanced trade deal with the US of A. So that's what's going to happen. It's going to, man, it just, like I say, man, the things people do instead of buying the dip is wild. Like you're in markets, prices are cheap, people will literally do everything else but buy the dip. Everything. They'll literally do everything else. Write an essay, write another essay. They'll make videos about why this time is different, read long-winded articles, make big posts on Twitter, long comment sections on YouTube just to say it's over. This time is different. Talk to people for hours about, yeah, did you see that Trump guy? Oh, golly gee, wouldn't want to be in that presidency. You know, all that stuff, all the things, just everything except buying the dip. Everything. We just talk and talk and talk and talk. It really does baffle me. It's like, market goes, free prices, cheap prices. And everyone's like, no. This ain't cheap, bro. This is the beginning of an expensive and it's going to get cheap later on. It's going to get way, way, way worse. It's fascinating. And now everyone's like, you know what? Instead of buying the dip, let me become a trade deal expert. Friends, I've got no idea how the accounts work. I can't be bothered even searching through my brain to figure out, remember how it works from uni. Oh, you buy from me, we buy from you, tax up and down, the deficit and the who gives a shit, bro? You're not gonna care about this before in a month, okay? No one's gonna care. Just pump the markets up, bro. The economy figures itself out. People keep dealing with each other. A bunch of people talking to each other about, we like you, we like the red flag, no, we like the blue flag today and stuff out here. It eventually just sorts itself out, okay? People are like, you know what, bro, we're on your team, but like, we've kind of got like 30 years of like relationships here. And we kind of like don't want to like break it in like 5 seconds because we have like, 20,000 jobs linked to this. So yeah, it is what it is. That's pretty much what that's the whole world, friends. You can't just basically yell words into the earth and just get seismic changes to consistently happen. Okay, if it's fighting a trend, it'll eventually revert to the trend. When it comes to all these trade deals and everything out here, money just seeks where it's treated best. Now, I've got some interesting pictures here for you. Let's enjoy some AI, friends. This is Donald Pump playing the PlayStation. This is the only game he's trying to play right now. Press up, sir. Press the up button, Donald. I see your... That's right. Here he is. Press the up button, please, sir. Please. Also enjoying some Crash Bandicoot. If you know that noise, friends, collecting all the apples. Man, these AI things are pretty good. We also have Ash Ketchum playing some Pokemon. Back in the day, huh? Back in the day. Oh, man. Trip down memory lane out here playing the PlayStation. This is revolutionary when it came out. Here we have Donald Pump. I love this picture. There's a keyboard, but he's playing on a controller. Ultra difficulty mode. Well done to you, sir. Going out playing here. Here we have Mike Tyson playing his knockout game. If you remember these, friends. One hit KO. You got to watch out for him. This is actually fun. I mean, they actually made him look stunned as well. It's like really cool. Here we have Michael Jackson playing Dance Dance Revolution. Yee-hee. That's actually awesome. Meet the Jeffersons. All right. It's been a fantastic time out here. RIP MJ. Here we have Nemesis from Resident Evil 3, friends. Man, this game scared me, friends. This game scared me to hell. And by the way, I played Resident Evil 2, but I think I finished the game like 15 times. So I thought I couldn't get scared anymore because like, I've gone through heaps of games and like, I'm used to the blood and the zombies. I'm a young kid. Then this thing comes out. Oh my gosh, this noise comes out. In this Resident Evil 3, he can now chase you across rooms. Because normally in the Resident Evil 2, you go into a door. You're like, oh, thank God, I made it to the door. Your heart rate goes down. Because you haven't seen horror stuff like this back when this is the early days, man. This is the engineering of this stuff out here. So you're like, oh, I'm in another room. And then you can hear like the violin music, the piano music. You're like, oh, thank God, I'm safe. It doesn't sound like it's dangerous in here, but... Then with this game, they start screwing with you. Okay. Now, when you cross through a scene, he can come through the door, and he's like super powerful. So, I remember these moments out here. These are the cultural things. They sit with you forever, and I wonder what AI is going to be able to do now. Because back then, humans had to make it. Now AI's got all the packs. right? It'll be wild. Here is Lara Croft, obviously out here. By the way, friends, you know, I thought this was real. I did not know it was AI at the start. I thought it was actually real. I like, it's just AI, man. It's getting really good. Getting really good. You ever play Tomb Raider? Did you ever play Tomb Raider, friends? I liked it as a kid. It was a fun game. Going around. You can kind of see as well, everyone in crypto in this digital age, gaming is just basically a part of everything. We really are in a simulation, I really think, friends. It's kind of funny. If you wondered why is Elon Musk fascinated with games? He basically said, I'll never forget this quote. Elon said, if you assume any growth rate improvement in games, any, like even 0.001% per like 10 years, you keep going, you end up at a simulation. And it took me a while to think about it. I'm like, oh my gosh. So that's how they prove it. They go, yeah, just improve it literally like in 1% every 100 years. Yeah. You eventually, on a long enough timeline, you get to a simulation. Kind of wild, man. I want to make another UFO video to go through this, but I'm going to just tell you this to blow your mind. They did, friends, an experiment. Okay, I'm going to draw for you, box. They did an experiment. There's a spotlight in the middle, okay? And this spotlight, it shines a light randomly at parts of the room, okay? Randomly at parts of the room. So it's programmed to do it random. So that means because it's random over 100,000 flashes, 25% is in this corner, 25% is in that corner, 25% here, 25% here. Yeah, of the time. Then what they did is they put a pot plant in the corner of a room. A little plant. Literally, friends, a little innocent plant. You ready to get your mind blown? You know that spotlight? You know this spotlight? It was no longer 25% in each corner. Yeah. It became slightly higher odds to go in the pot plant, which is wild. And I couldn't believe this. So now it makes you think, two perspectives. Is it the plants controlling the spotlight to get a bit more light? Or is it the universe trying to do that a bit? What is that? Is it the life force? I couldn't believe it, man. I couldn't believe it. Yeah, of course, the odds are slightly, but it's measurable. A little plant. And he's like, everything's got life. Think about that, friends. When I heard that, I'm like, you know what? That makes so much sense to me. Because, friends, in your life, we always say, like, oh, that person's lucky. There's some people out here, oh, that guy, he always gets all the girls. Or maybe that girl, she gets all the attention, Or that guy's just born for this, or that guy's there are some different energy aura waves out there. And friends, I've also known some people, they are born bad luck. You can't even hang around them too long. I'm not even joking. Just the worst luck happens. Just random things, People try to start fights with them in the street. They're not even doing anything. Yeah. People just say a rude thing to them. And I've been people, I'm like, dude, that never happens. But they're not even doing anything, Some people just attract that. I'm sure you've known that. Some people just their whole life's just like that. It's like Frank Grimes from Simpsons. It very is interesting. So I just thought all of these were fugazis in our mind, but actually they're not. Now one day we'll be able to measure them. But for now, all we can do is measure this Kippy. Kippy coming out cooler, right? So Kippy came out cooler. Why aren't you pricing in those rate cuts, man? So time's ticking, by the way. Times are ticking. Where are we going to go from here? Let me show you the Bitcoin price chart. This is the daily chart, friends. These daily charts, you got to be honest. You don't get... You're not getting that, all right? Here is May, though. Okay, here's May. So maybe it's kind of wow, bull trap. Oh, no, it's not. And then maybe we start the global liquidity thing. So, we got 5 red monthly candles, bro. It's going to be a while. If you wanted a formula, and I don't know if it's going to work, sell altcoins on the 5th green monthly others BTC candle in a row. Has to be in a row. Okay. One of them did 5, one of them did 6, but yeah, we haven't had more than one green in a row in like literally this whole cycle, pretty much. Since like January last year, we've only had one green and then later on one green. We have not even had 2 in a row. So don't even tell me alt season start. We have not even seen anything. We haven't even had 2 green months in a row. Only one. Like, subscribe, belly button, or catch you soon.